Hello, and welcome to the Competitive Edge. This is Ginzaki taking over for All City King, who is having some family get together today or something.
Or he's crapping.
That's a possibility too.
Could
He's probably
be.
doing something else, but we're trying to keep this PG-13 as possible.
Yeah. This week we have Nomad.
He's getting to know his toilet.
Um,
Hello.
Fenix and
Hi.
Midnightfox. You should know their voices by now if you're paying attention.
Well, this is like the second time that they've heard me, so
Oh yeah,
I'm still the random.
It happens.
If they've been listening to the gaming podcast, I'm pretty sure they know you and me.
Yep. This week we're going to be starting off with card sleeves, and in that category, mats, deck boxes, just things you use to store and protect your cards. Yeah, start off with Nomad, since I know
Okay,
you don't have
well,
much to talk about.
Yeah. I often joke about how like a playmats make us better players, and I think there is a logic behind it. Like for me, a playmat is a physical thing. Like it helps keep my cards away from the sticky table and everything, but at the same time, it's also an artwork aspect of it. That's one of the reasons I play the game. I enjoy the artwork, and for me, a playmat is simply a larger canvas, which has no limitation at all. If I want to play with my Firebird playmat, then I have that as part of my deck. It doesn't interfere with any of my cards or my strategies. It simply complements it. And I don't believe it has to be an expensive playmat. For me, one of my favorite playmats is maybe $8 or $10 that I bought online a couple of years ago, and it's a mat I enjoy a lot. As for my sleeves, I tend to prefer the Ultra Pro that have the matter finish. I find that they last a bit longer and they don't get all sticky. And I have pretty much every color. As far as what color I choose, it's sometimes random. Like my Blackwing deck has yellow sleeves, and it's kind of like a Darkwing Duck I joke about, but it just kind of happened that way. I don't know, like, what about you, Eddie? What kind of stuff do you use?
Well, for me, to be perfectly honest, I could care less when it comes to like the whole dueling thing. I mean, I'm a duelist full and first and foremost. So if I don't have sleeves or the whole mat or the deck box or anything like that, it doesn't really matter to me. I'm playing for the love of the game more than anything.
So you don't use sleeves, is what you're saying? You don't use sleeves?
No, I don't use sleeves.
So you go into the game. So he goes into the game unprotected, is what you're telling us here?
Come
on,
it's like your junk. Or like that.
Yeah, it's like your junk. Keep it safe.
I put it all on the table, boys.
Yeah, and all.
Oh, natural.
Oh, yeah. Natural.
As natural as our All Ages podcast is today.
Hey, you guys put it out there, so I just figured, you know what? I'll put it out there too.
Yeah, I'm guilty of that too. What about as you carry around your cards? Like, are you a fan of backpacks or?
I carry, like, if I have a deck box or anything like that, I'll carry it around in that, and I'll carry it, like, in my book bag to campus or wherever I go. I try to keep it to where it's like, hey, I keep it on my back, where it's out of sight, out of mind for people, and if they try to, steal it or anything like that, I'm right there to be like, nope, thunk.
Yeah, it's important, I think, to be attentive. Like, I have all my things in a briefcase, which for me I find is a lot more secure. It's compact. It doesn't, I guess, flop around or roll around. I have a strap on there that I tie around my leg. And
smart idea.
It's also kind of like what Kaiba would have, so I mean... what about the rest of you guys?
For me, I like to go ironic with card sleeves, so on occasions, Magic the Gathering card sleeves, or card sleeves for another card game that has the backing of that actual card game on it, just for fun. my mat is a Silent Magician mat, custom made. It's just, as you said, it's about the artwork. It's something that card mellows me out. It makes me think. So I like that card. Having it on my mat makes me think. My cards, the sleeves themselves, mostly I use a Fire Angel sleeve that I got a while ago. It's less about the sleeve itself, though, and more that if they stick together, I'm not going to use them. I'm going to give those to someone else. They got to shuffle nicely. Deck box is a double deck box I picked up on eBay. Just simple. More than anything, I have an old record case, it's a case for holding like the micro records.
Oh yeah.
And I ripped out the interior of that, and I use that because it's big, bulky. If someone tries to make off with it, they're going to meet resistance, and they're going to be surprised by it. Which I find is the biggest thing, is people try to take it. It's too heavy it's more heavier than they thought, and it causes them to stumble, and then I realize, hey, you're trying to steal my crap.
So it's like Thor's hammer, but for Yu-Gi-Oh?
Pretty much.
So like only you can lift it, only you can wield it?
Might as well.
So I guess we let old anal retentive go last.
Anal retentive?
Don't you an anus for that?
That's some $20 words here for us.
I guess I would be the most anal about protection of my cards. When I first got in, I went for the looks. I went and got the really cool looking like dragon sleeves and all. I've always kept my cards protected because, as I've said through the last couple podcasts, it's like an investment. So I like to keep them safe. But I realized that those wear out very easily. They start sticking together, and they start tearing apart. So I went to Ultra Pro because they shuffle easy and they last longer. And they protect my cards better. So stuck with Ultra Pro when it came to my sleeves. When it came to mats, if I feel like being intimidating, I may pop out a Traj mat or something. But for the most part, I use my Exodia Necros mat. Like you guys said, I enjoy the artwork. And out of all the mats I have, Necros is my favorite one. A lot of people see it and they're like, oh, you're playing Exodia. So, no, I don't actually play that out. I played it 1 week, but it's just my favorite overall mat is my Necros mat. As far as deck boxes, I do like to get fancy on that. It used to be I had 4 or 5 deck boxes with different decks, and they were just a regular old green or blue. But since I got back into it with my second collection, I decided to go with the nicer ones. You can't find them for Yu-Gi-Oh! So I went with the Magic the Gathering. My son, for his, he uses one of the Fire Dragons for Magic, and I use Balrog.
That's pretty cool. Like,
really cool artwork. And my cards are in book bags. I only take my holos, and they're either at my feet or on my back at all times if I'm at a public event.
Sorry, go on. You were gonna.
Coolest setup I've seen for someone to protect their cards. Locals a few years ago, a guy showed up. He had a trench coat on, and what he had under the trench coat was one of those military vests with the mole on it. It's the little straps that you put the pouches on, and that's what his deck boxes were attached to. So you'd actually have to assault the guy to get at it.
So like those ones when you strap like a bomb to a guy,
yeah,
he had that kind of get up on.
Pretty much.
That's pretty cool. Ahmed?
Yeah.
What?
Ahmed, the dead terrorist, I
kill you.
Isn't he a puppet?
Yes, he's a puppet.
Oh, that guy's so annoying. I like the comedy, but I just want to punch that guy in the face whenever I see him.
What's it? So he has a Batmobile, so I feel the same way.
I want his Batmobile. Like, I wouldn't sell my car to get one, but I
Yeah, a
don't
bit
want
off
to
topic, but
Bill.
the thing I have against him is I find his comedy only funny the first time. Anytime after the first time, it's just a guy playing with puppets.
You know, like I can listen to Wanda Sykes or Norm Macdonald or George Carlin for hours and over again, but and to me it never gets old. It's more of like it's a brand of their comedy that just resonates very well into me, and I enjoy it consistently.
I guess that comes with being the old married man. You know, I like getting the blue collar comedy tour, and Jeff Dunham because they like to crack a lot of jokes about wives. She's not in the room right now. I could say that.
I like Blue Collar, and I'm a real big fan of Bill Hicks. God rest his soul, if there is a God, and if there is indeed a soul to rest.
I should look up Bill Hicks again. I haven't heard his comedy for a good 4 or 5 years now.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on. We were going to talk about deck creation. Got a bit off topic, but the idea here is how do you start making a deck? How do you finish making a deck? Just making decks in general. I'll start off. For me, I start off by figuring out what I'm going to build. If it's going to be 6 Samurais, X Sabers, whatever. I'm going to figure out this. I'm going to research it, get the skeleton, like figure out what cards there are, figure out which cards have synergy with each other, and which ones are going to be good to keep, which ones are going to be good to ditch, and just build a rough skeleton. And if it's too big, I'll normally ditch the project altogether. But if the skeleton's a good size, I'll then start adding in staples, your Solemn Warning, Solemn Judgment, Torrential Tribute, that kind of thing. And then when it's done, playtesting, because if it doesn't pass playtesting, it's either going back to the drawing board or I'm ditching it.
Yeah, a lot of times I find as well that if I'm making a deck, I have to look at what can this deck or card offer me that something else can't, or better than something else. And like for example, I've always been wanting to make a good alien deck because I like Men in Black and I think it'd be kind of cool, but ultimately I can't justify it because I can look at it and it offers a few cool plays, but it's like this is like ultimately it's a lesser version of Blackwings in many cases.
A couple of years ago with Gangrel, before all the new stuff started hitting, it was competitive back then, but in today's meta, yeah, aliens just kind of dropped off the face of the earth.
Like I like a lot of the cards it offers, and the A counters I think are interesting, and like in many ways I would argue that Curse of the Snake Deity, whatever, is better than Icarus Attack in many ways, but at the same time the mold is so similar and less consistent that even like with Gangrel, as we'll call him in light of being wrestling fans here, he's just a beat stick for the most part.
Yep.
Fox, you want to go next, or you want me to?
Well, you guys can fight over it.
Go ahead, Eddie. I'll stay in my last place here. I'll kind of seal the deals.
All right. Well, when it comes to making a deck, it depends on what the deck is. Someone can kick me an idea, and I'll start mentally making a list. Say something on the lines of like a junk deck, or anything like Black Wings, Shadow of the 6 Samurais, or anything like that. Or I'll just take like 2 random deck ideas because it's like, wait a minute, Black Wings, Dark World. Let's throw these 2 together. Let's just see what happens, and just start throwing around the chaos. But when it came to something like my Fisherman's Keeper deck that I have, that deck took a little bit of intricate time to build because it's like, okay, you've got a base structure of what you want to do. You want to have the legendary fisherman be out on the field and make it to where your opponent cannot attack you or attack it. So find the card combination to lock that down, and then from there just start building around it. And then I gave up on it for a little bit, and then I came back to it after I figured, hey, I think Absolute Zero could work for this deck. Ding, 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 ding. Brain just started kicking off ideas again. and then I'll kick the idea to my friends. I'll show them the deck. They'll probably be like, hey, try running this card, or, maybe subtract this card, add this card, and that'll kick off more ideas to start switching stuff in and out. And then, like, of course, the staples always go in the deck. So.
Oh, yeah, that's a
And
big
there's
part
my
of it. I find that a lot of times I'll have an idea for a deck and it just won't work, and then I'll find a card and just read through it a couple times and go, wait a minute, and start testing that.
Well, I think you brought up a really good point, too, about how you get ideas and how sometimes even just bugging your friends. Like, for me, as useful as online forums and the large community are, I find that a lot of my better ideas are more meaningful and longer ideas are just, it'll come out of my friends and I'm joking around and like we're making a joke about Scapegoat and someone like will bring something up and then I can turn that into an idea that I might have not ever come across, in the online world, or when I'm thinking strictly Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah.
And again, when I'm building a deck, I also like to consider if I'm building something is good because we know it's good, or it's good because maybe it can have the element of surprise, and that'll also affect how I build and how I play that deck as well. So there are a lot of factors that'll go into a choice that I think all of us make too.
Me, I like to go outside the norm most of the time. Unless it's specialized, I try to stick to the same structure. Specialized, maybe one of my best incantations when I was younger, and when I first started in the game, would have probably been my Reflection deck, which was specifically built around redirecting all of your opponent's attacks back at them with Founders and Chinthonian Soldier, Amazoness Swordswoman. And every once in a while I'll get those ideas, but I can't do what I've talked about over the last few podcasts. I can't ambi-deck. As I said, I like to do that. I like to build two decks into one. So usually I'll start out with a skeleton of what my spell and trap zone is going to look like, so that I can get an idea of what's going to work. And I can throw something in there, like one I posted recently was my Chaos Spam Toolbox. And then it sides into anti-meta. Well, something I'm fooling around with on Dueling Network right now is seeing if I can get Black Wings and Inzectors to work in the same deck, being able to side into them. I like to be able to build two decks into one, but for the most part, my first deck is just something I want to fool around with someone, but most of them can side into a tier 1 deck. So when it comes to deck building, for me, the big skeleton is in what's in your spell and trap zone, not so much in your monster. Then I specialize and figure out, if I'm going to go with this build, well, what monsters are going to work in this side? Do I just want to do anti-meta, or do I want to take this deck from this certain build into a tier 1 deck? So, to me, making sure you have a good spell and trap assortment that's going to work, that's the most important thing to me. That's where I always start. But one of my favorites is Chaos. So right now, almost anything you see me play is usually going to run around Chaos and being able to get into Blackluster Soldier Envoy, because I'm enjoying him while he's still here, before Konami comes in like the trolls they are and says, bam, 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 he's gone. Bam.
I don't know if we're going to see him.
I'll just pick up a copy of him this time.
Yeah. I think Eddie had something he wanted to add to this.
Well, I noticed that when Fox was talking, he was talking about building the anti-meta or something that's not of the cultural actual following. I like to follow that same kind of thing. And I also have a friend who's pretty famous around our college and kind of like our little town that we have, for building a Fortune Lady deck that he nicknamed Boobs for Game, because his deck is just, it's so unconventional, nobody sees it coming, and it works so well. And then like his Relinquish deck that he has, Dark Dom Nomination.
See, and that's a really... Sorry.
It's
No, go ahead.
retarded, to be honest. It's retarded stall deck, but it works. When it gets working, you're freaking just locked, and you can't do anything.
That's
You
the
have
thing. Most
I see
people
what
are expecting to see the tier 1 decks, and they're preparing for that. So when you come out with something that just is totally away from the norm, they're like, oh, what do? I didn't plan for that.
I'm
It
gonna
has
play
to be
Relinquish.
good, though.
I'm
I'm saying it has to be good because, like, there's a difference here between playing something unique or different for the simple sake of being different, or playing it for the sake of getting the element of surprise and being effective at that craft. I mean, like, I can say, well, I want to make a Relinquish deck because I don't want to run tier 1 meta, and to me, that's kind of silly in itself. However, if I can say, well, I'm going to make a Relinquish deck, and I'm going to make it really good, and part of the reason of why I'm running it is because I believe it is good, you're covering both bets right there, and you have a reason.
The thing is, he just comes in and goes, I know I'm going to lose, but let's go. And he'll just run retarded combos like, oh, you have like 2 monsters on your side of the field, like Leviar or Lagiga or whatever you may have on your side of the field. I'll sacrifice those 2 cards for Lava Golem, Nom, and then I'll summon Relinquished and I will eat him. Have a 3,000 attack point monster, 1 star on my side of the field, and then swing.
Yeah, that's
And
what
then hope
a friend of mine has as a deck that he calls Swing and a Miss. And this deck was built before, like, this deck is 5 years old, tweaked every once in a while with new cards, but it's essentially a stall deck, a burning stall deck, that in today's meta is also an anti-meta deck, but it was never designed to be that way.
See, another good one that I've been fiddling around with and trying to fine-tune that supposedly there's more support coming to it. It's called In the Junkyard, and you guys have seen me talk about Junk Archer. He's one of my favorite non-tier 1 at the moment cards, but he's quite the surprise, especially if your opponent has a big beater out and you get rid of it and you just go, ding, there's your life points.
In the
Goodbye.
junkyard, the mighty junkyard, the archer snipes tonight.
Junk Archer and Blackluster Soldier Envoy at the beginning, I pulled them out in turn 1 at the last tournament I went to last Saturday, and it was insane. The guy was looking at me like I was just crazy. But I had the perfect hand. It looked ugly. It looked absolutely ugly, but it played out perfectly. I thought, there's no way I'm gonna pull anything out of this. But the way I was able to play out my hand, I was able to get both of them out in 1 turn, and swing 5,300. He'd already paid 4,000 for Solemn Judgment to negate my Heavy Storm.
Oh, it's perfect.
And I
Love
guess
it.
you got I guess you got him that way, hey?
Yep.
Fox,
Doesn't
you
always
said you
work.
wanted to do the new releases before we ended.
Okay, I think we're getting a bit of reverb here.
We're sending Eddie to the card graveyard.
What?
The anime.
Or the Shadow, yeah, send him to the Shadow Realm.
Yeah, we're sending him to the Shadow Realm.
You should banish him with your Junk Archer.
What?
We're
You can't
getting
come back
reverb
for a
off
turn.
you.
Yeah,
What's going on? I have no idea.
can't come back for 1 podcast.
I have no idea what's going on. I'm about to take my pants off in freaking defense.
Take your pants off. Well,
Oh, natural.
Exactly.
yeah.
All right, we like I said, Fox, you wanted to do some release dates before we end this.
Well, I had something else too. If you guys don't want to end your turn just yet.
Hit it up. Hit it up.
kind of relates to what you were saying about how your deck, that you ran across, it became kind of an anti-meta deck in the future as the meta evolved.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Frog Monarchs, in a way, have become like that just because of how unreliant they are on back rows and how cards like Effect Veiler and Max C will fit right into their mold. And it's a deck that, based on the offense that it can generate, you don't really care about your back row, and you're naturally going to have a lot of cards in your hand. And even just by design, I think it's been a solid tier 2 or tier 3 off that. And even if you say that it's really sacky and doesn't have a skillful base, it does have Light and Darkness Dragon, and that alone for me is pretty much enough reason to run it. So that was just kind of a small example that I wanted to mention before I forget about it.
That's why I like to look forward. I like Dueling Network for being able to look at the OCG cards so that I can prepare for what's coming. Like right now, I'm really working on trying to find a way to make Advanced Dark work because that's going to be hitting. And I've been wanting to play Crystal Beast, but there's no viable way right now. But with Advanced Dark, they might actually become a decent deck to play. So it gives
Even
you
then,
a chance
though,
to take a look at it and see,
I'm
what
actually
can I
fairly
put
fond of
together?
Crystal Beast so long as you're not running Rainbow Dragon in it.
oh, I hate Rainbow Dragon.
But see, Rainbow Dark will become more viable with Advanced Dark.
Yeah.
But even then, isn't
Crystal Beasts.
Rainbow Dark just like a
It's just
large
like
beater?
Rainbow Dragon, except it's darks. It doesn't have to be Crystal Beast. It just has to be different darks. So, and
You have to have 7 though, and they have to. But you
Advanced
have to have
Dark,
7, and they have to all be in your graveyard, don't they?
yes. Advanced Dark though it's like Zombie World for Crystal Beasts. Everything on the field and in the graveyard is a dark. So it wouldn't have to be 7 different dark Crystal Beasts. You could basically select. It makes all your Crystal Beasts dark. So you could have 7 different Crystal Beasts, but you could have some tech cards in it that are even dark, or even run Dad in that deck because you're going to have a steady way of refilling your graveyard with darks as long as you have Advanced Dark on the field. So I like to look ahead at the meta. So I do like seeing the OCG sets hit here so we can see and kind of get some plays in our mind. But of course, I'm going to beat Konami over the head this week. Sometimes we get different versions of what they're able to play. Like
Segway!
It's reworded.
Just like with the Neos Contact card they're going to come out with. Originally, that was able to work with any Neos fusion. So Rainbow Neos decks would have just went through the roof. Not anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but do you really want to reference the anime too much for our cards? I mean,
I would like my mystical ref panel that negated everything.
yeah, instead of simply targeting a player, which isn't even a mechanic that we had until that card came out, and then got like hornswoggled into our terminology that confused a lot of people. I
don't even want, the cards the way they are. I just want the draws they always seem to pull. Oh, heart of the cards. I got exactly what I need to take care of this situation.
I'll give up part of the cards for a dual disc.
That would be fun.
I'll put it like this. It's no longer for me. It's no longer for me. Heart of the cards. I'm the T to the O P D E C K and can't no other duelist pick it up like me. I'm top deck licious.
Oh no.
Oh god.
My friend Natsu came up with that one night at 4 in the morning when I was top decking like a boss, and it's just like, okay, weird, but you know what? I'm freaking keeping it.
Yeah.
Put that in your wallet, pull it out when you need it.
You know, that's even better than like
fisherman.
Legendary Fisherman wall.
Well, where we're heading to was some of the things that Konami's going to be releasing pretty soon here. IN, our Yu-Gi-Oh mod, has went out and found some images of 10-1, so we actually know what all the cards are in it as far as the secrets and the supers. Everybody's known that 10-1 is Secret Rare Heroic Champion Excalibur. We now know 4 super rares are Wind Up Zenmaines, Blizzard Princess, Wind Up Rabbit, and Evil Czar Logia in that 10.
So buy that 10.
Yeah.
And the second 10 is a Doka 10, which comes with a secret rare Doka. And again, we get a super rare Zenmaines in that 10. But the other ones are Dark Highlander, Gen X Neutron, and Scrap Dragon. So anyone with Scrap Dragon, get rid of it now!
So play sets of both 10s is what you're saying.
Yes, that's the first 10 that's going to hit in August. And I will plug right now that in September, we will be having our next Deck of the Month contest where we have a tournament, and one of those 2 10s is going to be the prize since it hits in August. So everybody be thinking, you don't know what theme I'm going to come up with, but that's going to be our prize in September when we have Deck of the Month.
And I'm just starting back to college then, too, so it's like,
Is it going to be cards that have
had to
boobs?
do it then.
All City King won our June one. Since we were kicking the summer, it was all fire, and he used Evils. Everybody loved it. Right.
My backside, I give him that. So he had a good match.
Hey, you can't hound a guy for making the best of his circumstance and running with it.
Yep.
Nope. It worked, and it was all fire. He stayed within the guidelines. It was all fire. That was it.
What kind of deck did he run?
Evils are.
Yeah, Evils. I could actually probably link that up, but I'll let our viewers go on and check it out and see what his deck list consisted of.
Come to the site, check out that deck, and then check out all the other fire decks that were in the tournament. They're pretty unique and interesting.
Yes, that is why we do Deck of the Month with a theme, and the way we're going to do the Flash tournaments that are starting is so that everybody's not going on net decking. You're going to always see something original.
And remember, these aren't shameless plugs because he owns the podcast.
And there's no such thing as a shameless plug in itself, so...
Premature shutdown. Way to go, Jen.
I am tired.
All right. So thoughts, guys. My thoughts, the Excalibur 10, what I'm looking at, Excalibur and Doka both have Zenmaines, so either way, you go get either one, and you're going to get a Zenmaines, which is somewhat popular with wind-ups winning the latest nationals in like Spain's and all that.
Come on, Missy.
They're probably going to be pretty big. Wind Up Rabbit, decent in the Excalibur 10. Blizzard Princess, I'm not hugely familiar with, so I won't go into that. But
I have no idea what she is either, to be honest.
We see Logia and Doka both being reprinted. So if they don't limit Rabbit, those two's price at least will go down, but Rabbit's price will probably go through the roof because it'll be so easy to run Rabbit Dinos.
Yeah, I mean, and everyone's going to have a higher incentive, and like you mentioned earlier, any 10 is a good buy, so from like a retailer or a local perspective, it's going to sell itself, and we're probably not going to have those things like shelf warming in our local stores in 7 years like we had for some of the older 10s. And it's like at this point, I find it kind of hard to believe that we actually bought our older 10s that only had like one super and then like 4 or 5 crap packs in them.
Mm-hmm.
Or even
I found Blizzard Princess. This is essentially what if the fact is you can tribute this card and face up attack position to or you can tribute summon this card and face up attack position by tributing one spellcaster type monster. During the turn this is normal summoned, your opponent cannot activate spell or trap card, so it's essentially a monster cold wave except better.
Ooh.
I know what this is now.
Yeah.
This is a spellcaster game changer.
Yeah, I recognize the artwork now.
Ouch. Imagine if you were running a spellcaster deck and were able to pop out Secret Village.
Or what's it? I think a DNA change or something. The one that swaps the
Yeah.
attribute of monsters on the field. Put that
Ouch.
in a deck with this. Boom.
Problem I have though is that it's only for one turn though, and it's even a turn that like it's normal summon, so you can't even do like.
Well, like
Call
I
the
said,
Haunted
it's
on
like
the
Cold
opponent's-
Wave. It's for an all-out blitz attack. Keep your
Yeah,
monsters
but see-
from countering as you steamroll them.
Somewhat comparative to the hyped up Shockmaster. I mean, Shockmaster, yes, has
Yeah.
a different effect, but because you have to pick either monster effect, spell, or trap when you get rid of your Xyz unit, this just takes out spell and trap, not monster effect, but still, that's a pretty decent effect.
I don't know. I just don't see it being anywhere near the shelf of Cold Wave because you're
Cold
not
Wave
only
is much
making
easier
investment.
to attack.
Well, yeah, and like you're playing your Cold Wave even before the onslaught, and then you're shafting your opponent on the current turn, and then you're shafting them on their turn anyway, and then in turn you're also shafting them on your next turn because they couldn't build a defense.
Mhm.
So Cold Wave in a sense is like you kill them for 3 turns at almost no cost to you.
Hence why it sits on the ban list.
Yep.
And hence why I would love to see Cold Wave back for a lot of reasons.
I'm gonna put it like this. Fox, you made mention that Rabbit could possibly skyrocket when it comes time for the new ban list if it doesn't get touched. Yes?
Possibly.
I can see Konami doing this, being a total complete troll and being hilarious at the same time. They're not gonna touch Rabbit this list. They're going to wait until after the list to potentially let the price skyrocket so people will just start buying up rabbits. And then when they go to release the new supers in the second wave 10s, they're going to say, hey, guess what? Rabbits coming. And in that little 1 month time, people are going to buy up all the rabbits and be like, well, damn, I could have just waited a couple months and just got it out of the tins. But now I'm stuck with all this wasted money. So
Well, it's not wasted
It's
money.
possible that they, if they do that, it's possible that they're trying to build up that mentality. Is wait for the tins before you go out and purchase singles.
Hence what
Well,
I do, but most players are stupid. I gotta have all these big meta cards now. Gotta spend all my money on it now.
Yeah, but you gotta have it now because you have to be relevant, and you have to get those cards before all of your friends do because you want to be the cool kid,
No.
and you want to like.
That, or you could make your own
And you wanna win.
anti-meta deck and do just as good.
I'll make an anti-meta deck and just go
You see, this is a Ryo.
Yeah, but Ryo is still
Sure,
pretty
can
mainstream
you
by
go?
now, though.
Yeah.
So our second wave 10, we don't have the supers on it yet. Anybody else want to go over the first wave 10 still?
I don't really have any thoughts worth mentioning that are.
Eddie?
Mimi, haha, prices are going down, and people are stupid for buying them as soon as everything comes out. Just wait for the tins or wait for the re-release. Seriously, you know it's coming.
If you think about it, this might be a way of them boosting more Order of Chaos sales and more 10 buys. Because,
That too.
I mean, Konami, I got to give it to them for as much as they troll us dedicated players, they are definitely in it for the money.
Exactly.
And then they shut down us stockbroker players.
Yeah, but they're appealing to everyone in a
Yeah.
sense because, like, if you're extremely competitive, if you have the spare money, if that's what you're gonna put your, I guess, your main hobby funds toward, you can build your deck when it comes out, and then you can have what you want. And then if you're someone like me who maybe doesn't have all the disposable income and who's not investing himself in the game as much financially, and I can wait for tens and, you know, and I can have that option too. So And again, if getting back to Rescue Rabbit over there, I mean, if they've only reprinted it a single time right now, it's only been printed once, hasn't it?
Yep.
Like, I don't think we've seen a reprint yet. So, like, I'd be very surprised to see Konami directly affect its value to make it go down prior to a reprint opportunity.
I mean, take a look at Pot of Duality. When Pot of Duality first came out, it was $150. People went nuts over it. I'm like, okay, you know what? Give it nine months to about a year. It'll be reprinted. Looky there, reprinted.
And it was, and now it's still a decently priced card,
again.
but yeah, and I've even lost track of all the versions. I mean, like, I have a couple of supers, and I've never looked back from those.
Exactly, and like now, like I know there's gonna be a future thing here with it here in just about a couple minutes. There are other reprints coming too. It's just like, guys, wait a little bit. I know right now you may want to have the shiniest deck out there, but if you just wait for the commons to come out, I'm pretty sure you can still be competitive. Oh my god, wait.
And even if we like our shiny cards and we have stuff like Legendary Collection, and that will give us our shiny Pyramid Turtles and, our shiny Mystic Tomatoes. And the flip side of things, we're also getting our common warnings, which I know we're going to have mixed feelings on here in this podcast.
I love it because it's just like, hey, that makes everything cheaper.
Plug Konami, September, basically the next Duelist Revolution box that people are talking about, Return of the Duelist will hit. Then we have, in November, the second wave of tins. We don't have super rares confirmed on it yet, but we do know that the secrets are going to be Ninja Grandmaster Hanzo, and the other one is going to be Hieratic Sun Dragon Overlord of Heliopolis. So
that's a mouthful right there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Not as good as the first 10, it seems like, unless they have some really good super rares. I mean, probably the big hype is going to be the first 2 tins that hit in August.
Yeah,
but I mean, like,
but I'm actually really excited here because if we have our first wave, ideally it's going to go up. Like, we're not going to have like our premier tins as our first wave and then have nothing to look forward to.
I can put it like this. Go ahead, Nomad.
No, well, all I was going to say is that if we have...
That was actually his point. Go ahead, Nomad.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I think it's been... But
I can put it like this. The first wave of tins, already looking amazing. The Legendary Collection, already looking pretty stinking sexy. You think they're honestly going to go limping out of this year? I don't think so.
Exactly.
Because it's going to be huge.
It's going to be on a strong point, and
they're going to have
stuff like Scrap Dragon and even Scrap Dragon and our GNX Neutrons, which are probably throw-ins at this point.
I'm willing to put money on it right now. I will put any amount of money on it right now. One of the reprints is going to be either Max C, because it's so expensive, an easy accessible tour guide, an easily accessible Rescue Rabbit, or Blackluster Soldier Envoy at the beginning. I will put money on it right now that one of those 4 cards will be reprinted in the new tins.
Well,
or hell, 2 or 3 of them.
I don't see Blackluster Soldier Envoy yet, but the other 3 I could see a possibility.
I could see Envoy getting a common price by now.
I could probably see Max C and Envoy being on there a lot sooner than Rescue Rabbit.
Here's the thing: did we see La Giga? Did we see Scrap Dragon? Did we see GNX Neutron coming? No.
Well,
I'm just saying.
I kind of had a feeling about Scrap Dragon though, just based on it being pretty much the only synchro left.
Yeah, I thought Scrap Dragon was out of nowhere just because I wasn't looking to them to print any more synchros. Like, you'd think they'd just try and push the Ixies as much as possible.
Hey, it's possible. And I just look at Scrap Dragon as being something that a lot of us wanted and that we might have forgotten about. And if we see a tin, even though it's like a throw-in at this point, it's a mighty good throw-in, and that just goes to show how effective all these tins are getting our money and getting our interest and advertising for themselves.
Okay. Chaos Emperor Dragon, Envoy of the End, or Bryonic.
I don't know
That would be
about
a troll.
Envoy of the End. Envoy of the End already hit in the Lost Millennium. I don't see them reprinting another special edition. That one I'm going to say they're going to hold out on because it's still available as a TLM version secret rare.
Yeah, but that thing is like years and years old, though. And I mean, if you're thinking of how good...
Well, there's
Like, I'm
three
looking at
versions of it. There's the original, there's the promo from the Lost Millennium, and there's the version in the Duelist Pack Kaiba. I see them holding out on Envoy of the End until it comes off the banned list for its single
Please,
section.
please, listen
Or
to
it'll
us,
be-
Konami. Envoy of the End.
Or it'll be for some kind of gimmick pack. Like, because it is a band card.
I could see a
It's pretty
Chaos
iconic.
gimmick pack coming out.
Duelist Pack Joey, yeah.
See, I want to have a Duelist Pack Pegasus.
Oh, that would be nice.
Like,
Ooh,
where I
why
get to
not?
read a...
Bring in the tunes.
Pegasus, one of my favorite villains from the anime.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
would like to
just
see
the
more
tunes.
tunes if they did a Pegasus pack. I'd like to see the tunes that are harder to get and just more tunes, like tune
And I would-
support.
More tunes, that would be kind of cool. And I would also like to have a Relinquished. It's readable and it has the proper text. I know I'm preaching to choir here, but it's possible. If
Yeah.
they print small enough.
November. I think they're pushing to try to maybe play the stock market with All City King, hoping he goes crazy, and they pull Eddie in too. November, they hit with Abyss Rising. I know Eddie's looking forward to the Mermails, but also we get the
Mermaids.
Water Structure deck, Roar of the Sea Emperor, and we also get Legendary Collection 3, which is going to have the Seal of Ori Calcos, 100% tournament legal. Everybody's talking about it already. Five-Headed Dragon, Dark Necrofear, Guardian Iatos, 3 token cards, ultra rare token cards, 2 Kribos and an Emissary. I mean, Konami is really wanting to go out at the end of this year with a bang. Just in time
Yeah,
for Christmas.
the world's going to end. They kind of have to make as much money because I believe it's in our constitution that if you've made the most profit at the end of the year, when the world ends, you are the official winner of the game.
Well, let's see. If it ends like 2012, let's see. Do we go out and buy our way onto these top secret boats, or do we go out and blow it on a bunch of Yu-Gi-Oh cards? I'm going to go blow it on a bunch of Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
Yeah.
matter.
And then loot the houses of the people who took the boat option.
It's not going to matter at all because when the zombies come, it'll be irrelevant. And
The zombies are already coming. They're in Florida. They're just kind of like not spread out just yet. They're trying to contain the virus.
well, the virus won't be contained because it'll happen a few small events that we'll make jokes about and laugh off, and then it'll kind of pan off. And we're going to forget about it, and then it's going to get into our food and water and air.
That's
And
why
then
I'm
we'll
moving
be
to Alaska.
totally screwed.
Because you can see Russia from your back door there.
Booyah, I'm going to Russia. Meow.
So since we kind of
Go to
covered
Russia?
what's coming out,
motherland!
since we kind of covered what's coming out in November, what's your thoughts on the structure deck, the Sea Emperor?
I am going to be entirely broke in November, so I'm probably going to try and avoid it like Plankton. And then I'm going to be tempted because someone is going to pull it out, and me, I like my froggies, so I'm going to try something that way.
They have
What
been
is a
going
froggy?
nuts. They have been going
What?
nuts with water here lately. It's
You
been
know-
nice.
Well, with the sea level rising due to climate change, it kind of makes sense. They're going to be our new overlords soon anyway.
Yeah, and I mean, it'll be a way that we think is going to be a way to get away from zombies. It won't be, because we're just going to
Then
find
the
more of them on
mermaids
island.
will turn us into slaves.
Yeah, and
I think Konami's trying to send us a warning here.
We'll be facing Bandit Keith in Duelist Kingdom.
Mako Tsunami.
Oh, Mako.
And his gay octopus.
I could never. I almost want to listen to his little fish songs. Doesn't he have those in the Japanese anime where he sings?
I'm not sure. I haven't listened to I haven't watched the Japanese.
Well, we saw that Deep Sea Diva's going to get reprinted, so
yeah,
looks nice. I mean, decent. They've really picked up with the competitiveness of what they've been releasing as far as structure decks. I'll give Konami that.
Well, now we can have Diva Zombies again, and maybe we'll see those infecting our meta. See, everything will tie back into zombies. It's
inevitable.
Yeah, I
get your plague.
You can try and fight
ready.
it.
All right.
Personally, I welcome our new fish overlords.
You do, eh? This is like a scene out of Futurama.
I know. Actually, I think it came from The Simpsons first.
Eddie's making sure he survives when the fish come down from space and take over the world.
I'm already screwed. I'm allergic to them.
Eddie will probably be the fish people's chihuahua by the time all this happens.
No, I'm screwed because, again, I'm allergic to fish, so...
Why are you... Now you're making me think of Mars Attacks, where they put the guy's head on the chihuahua.
Yeah, but you wouldn't be eating them. But you wouldn't be eating the fish.
They would just pet you every once in a while. You would get hives. And then you would get, I guess the... aqua equivalent of fleas would be sea monkeys.
Yep. Getting sea monkeys all over me.
Well, I guess kind of tying it up, I'll go through a quick list here. I'll get your guys' thoughts on it. What we do know is confirmed in Legendary Collection 3. We're going to get a secret rare Black Horn of Heaven, a secret rare Book of Moon.
Yeah.
A foil Bottomless Trap Hole.
Yeah.
A foil Balganian. Chain Disappearance is going to reprint as a common. We're going to get a foil Chaos Sorcerer. I'm looking forward to that myself.
Yeah, me too.
A secret rare Dark Hole, a secret rare Dark Magician Girl, an ultra dark Necrofear. Hopefully they get the wording right this time.
Hey,
Probably not.
I'm still going to bet it'll still be messed up. It either won't mention how it needs to be destroyed through an opponent. It probably won't mention that it has to be in the graveyard to activate, and or it'll have some other kind of strange crap all over it that just makes me facepalm and play my LOD version.
Yeah, I'm against Dark Hole reprint just because I have the super and I like my super. And yeah.
Well, I have my super too. I think it's the best version, but I mean,
it looks pretty.
I know, it's a legitimate dark hole.
It is the most legitimate dark hole.
A foil Dragged Down into the Grave, an ultra rare 5-headed, a secret rare Flying Commissary #1, a secret rat, a common Gold Sark, ultra rare Guardian Iatos, another foil Heavy Storm, another reprint of Mirror Force, this time as a secret, a foil Monster Reborn, ultra rare Morphing Jar. Looking forward to that one, I won't lie. A secret Mother Grizzly, a secret Mystic Tomato, a secret MST, a secret Pyramid Turtle. So all you Searcher players, all your secrets are coming.
I know, and I'm going to have my Pyramid Turtles. It'll be nice. I won't have to use my rares and my one half-bent common anymore when I play my zombie deck and take over.
We're getting a foil Raigeki Break, a foil Reckless Greed, an ultra Royal Decree, a super Reinforcement of the Army, a secret rare 7 Tools, secret rare Shining Angel, a secret rare Solemn Judgment, a common Warning like we talked about, a common Soul Taker, a secret rare UFO Turtle, a foil Upstart.
They really are doing the Searchers, aren't they?
Yeah. There's a lot. It's pretty much like all of the older Searchers except for Nova Summoner.
The big kicker. This is what I'm buying 3 sets and 1 for the site for. So 4 sets total. We're getting the Seal of Ori Kalkos finally in the TCG. So you guys, let's hear what you got to say.
Well, obviously we need to run a tournament. We'll each use the Seal of Orichalcos, and anyone who beats us gets to take our spot, including yours, new owner, possibly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'll be something fun.
And if you lose to me, I'm going to drag your soul to the Shadow Realm.
Yeah, he's gonna banish you with junk archer.
AKA, in real people language, he's going to kill you.
I need an adult.
Eddie is away from the computer at the
Yeah,
moment.
he had to go discover his toilet, I think.
I banished him to the Shadow Realm of the toilet.
Yeah.
Oh, that just sounds horrible.
But, you know, I have a question though. It doesn't involve any feces, I don't think. But is this one gonna come with like a binder too, or is it just
No, it's going to come in a box. I saw the picture.
Yeah.
It's in a box, and you see
Oh,
the
the
Seal of
binder was lovely.
Orichalcos on the right.
Because like it looked like a really small box, and I was kind of hoping there might be a small binder in there, but I guess
No.
considering all the reprints and all the shiny pyramid turtles, that's oddly enough, that's what I care about most out of this entire thing is little turtles, because I have I have my warnings and I have all the staples and the solemn and like I have heavy storms and that dark hole that we talked about, and I don't so much care about Iados and even the Seal of Orichalcos. I have a hard time believing it's going to be the next big thing. To be honest, like
I don't think it'll be
Okay.
easily tackable into any deck. I think most people will overlook it.
I say bullcrap. I will find a way to break the hell out of it. I promise you that.
Well,
it
that's,
a field
that's
card?
still not techable into any deck if you have to find a way to break it.
well, yeah, but I mean, any kind of tech is going to be like, is it a
Think of
field
it
card or
like-
is it just a continuous or what is it like the?
It's a field spell.
Okay, so I could potentially run a bunch of gear towns and
It's gonna not be easily
Terraforming and-
provable from the field. That's the issue.
okay, so it's
Yeah,
gonna
if
have
it's going after the one on the show just couldn't be destroyed, so they're going to make this one as immune to destruction as possible, which almost certainly means you can't just place another field spell over top of it.
I could see a discard effect to get rid of it. Or
Well, you
to
could,
keep it
though,
on the
because, I
field
mean-
or something.
yeah, but even if it had like it could be destroyed to card effects. If you play a new field card, that's a game mechanic.
Well, that's what I'm
Destroying
saying.
it.
It'll probably
Yeah.
have something in its card text that keeps that from happening.
Like discard your entire hand or discard a card to keep this card from being destroyed.
Discard a like field spell to destroy it, or something along those lines.
Because
Ancient Fairy Dragon through the roof if this hits and it's actually really good.
Oh dear God, I forgot about that. I've got an ultra rare and a secret version of it.
I have
I
an
have-
alternate.
I think I only have my tin one that I keep in my drawer for like whenever I run Gear Town or some kind of field card deck.
Z-Man will love it too. Z-Man the Ape King. But that's more
Right.
specialized deck.
Yep.
Yeah, I think when those guys came out, I paid more attention to Underground Arachnid because I'm a fan of insects.
All right, is that everything? We got anything?
I think
you
we
wanna
covered it
talk
all.
Yeah, I have a picture I'm gonna post in our podcast thread of my deck box that I made a couple years ago.
about?
But
What kind?
it looks like a gold sarcophagus. Like I don't know if you guys remember the Master Collection binder.
Yeah, I remember it.
The first
Yeah.
couple ones, and the one was gold.
Mhm.
Well, like what I did is I basically skinned that, and I took that shiny material, and I put all of that stuff around a cardboard deck box that I made, and there's like a compartment in the bottom for my calculator and my pens and my paper, and then up top is where I have my deck and my side deck.
Oh, that's cool.
Well, and it came out because I always wanted like a deck box. I was kind of like, I guess what Yugi had on the show in the earlier seasons, but it never came out. I looked at Walmart even for like crappy toys. I figured, well, I might as well try and make it myself, and I think it's neat. It's very shiny.
We need to get Nomad one of those, the pyramid things, so he can wear it around his neck, and he can invoke the Pharaoh spirit for us. We're gonna take a picture and post it up. Yeah.
I was always
The
a scrub when
scary
those
thing
came
would
out,
be
though.
if we put it around his neck and then his hair spiked up and became purple.
Yeah, and that's especially funny if you know that my hair is like down to my tail. Like my hair is like down to my tailbone. So that would be even funnier.
It'd be like a Super Saiyan.
Yeah.
That would be like a deadly weapon.
I'm not quite Raditz yet though. But I'm
Like
getting there.
Scorpion. Get over here!
Yeah, with like my hair and my Super Saiyan hair.
Yeah, you might not be Raditz in hair length, but you've got to be at least 3 Raditz in strength.
I would hope. I mean, I'm eating all my beans and meat.
I guarantee you, their Raditz is not stronger than our Raditz.